because there's nothing wrong with organic, but it has to be organic, but has to have some direction, some architecture. It cannot just be like random, like. So why is that? Why is that you choose Gothic?
Actually,
Like what's the reason behind?
it's actually a pretty simple reason. It was something that I haven't tapped in yet because I have done futuristic stuff, I have done retro stuff, but this something is I haven't tapped in, and I have not seen many people attempting it. So
Oh,
I was
okay.
like,
Nice.
let's just try new
Yeah,
where
yeah.
it leads, basically.
Okay.
So it's
Cool.
just my gut feeling, basically, if you want the
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
And it's mostly wrong, but I guess I hope it's right here.
That's good. So you're planning to do a 3D after this? 3D
Yeah.
3D model and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And hopefully in what do you call it? A present model as well of that.
Yeah. Okay.
Small but present.
Yes, sounds good. So may I ask you, where are you from and where are you studying?
I'm from India, actually, Maharashtra to be specific, and I was studying at UID, and right now I'm preparing for my masters. So like this project is going to go in my masters portfolio.
I see.
So yeah, and I hope that you judge on that level only, because
Yeah.
it's gonna go outside.
Yeah. Nice.
That's also one thing that's not letting me sleep right now.
Oh,
So it's like almost, if I'm allowed to curse, it's fucking up my head right now.
yeah.
It's pressuring, but it's fun. It's not that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So have you tried to do like a layout with how the project is gonna look, or these sketches are independent of your mood boards, or are on the same project?
Actually, they are on the same project, but
Okay.
it's not similar to the mood board, because right now I'm just trying to get down the feel of the car, and because if in my head it's like if I get the feel of the car, and then I can just modify it into some things that match my mood, because it's the mood board is basically a play between transparency and translucency. So I can make the surfaces translucent, or that can be like a editing thing that I want to do. And like in my head, that's the layout, right?
Okay. Yeah, because that's something that I noticed, that if you want to express translucency, either you gotta express that on the sketch, or jump straight to the model and try to get that feeling.
Yes, sir.
So, okay. Yeah, let me share my screen. I'm kind of like putting the sketches together.
Okay.
And yeah, we can wait until more people join. So I wanted to ask everyone, you guys saw the YouTube video? I really want to hear your thoughts, comments, or suggestions, or what's good about the session, what's not good about the session. Just like honest thoughts, so we can create, I guess, better content for you guys and for everyone who wants to learn. So please, any thought, any ideas, or any comments is very welcome. Yeah.
So I guess overall the video was very informative for me as well. And because if you can see in my sketches as well, I'm trying to do the cylindrical shading that you were trying to say. The later sketches, these are like way before that. And so I just saw it today morning as well.
Yeah.
So just trying to get that cylindrical shading in as well. That was a good learning for shading as well, and it's very effective as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't break my hand as well, so it's good.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a very geometrical side view, it helps a lot to read the form. And it's because there's nothing wrong with organic, but it has to be organic, but has to have some direction, some architecture. It cannot just be like random, like a branch tree, it's too much.
Yeah.
So I think simplicity on the side view is most of the times key to understand the whole car.
Yes,
You overcomplicate things, it can get very tricky.
Yep.
And tricky for no reason. They're gonna see at the design, they're gonna say, man, too complex for no reason. Like so
Yes, sir.
that's the thing. All right. Cool. Anyone else? Thoughts? Just in general about the session, you can say I like it, I don't like it. The
Hey,
YouTube
Omar.
video. YouTube video is what
Yeah.
I'm really concerned about.
Hey, Omar.
Yep.
You listen to me.
Hey Julian, how's it going?
Hi.
Yes.
Fine,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
I think that that for YouTube the format is too large. I think like if someone is gonna see that,
Yeah.
I think it might get boring at some point.
Yeah.
But if we have some segmentations like
Yeah. That's
with
true.
the focal point thing, the shading,
Yeah.
and separate them in different videos, I think it's
That's
gonna
true.
be
That's true.
way better.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's what I thought. I wanted to submit it like raw just to kind of like be honest about it. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, if you look at it, it's just like an hour and 40-minute video. You really need to know what's going on in the video to keep watching, because you know what's going on. But other people, like random people that they want to know how to sketch, you're just gonna go to the video and it's like there's a bunch of guys just talking. So
Yeah, right.
so yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
I
Thanks,
kind of
Julian.
want to jump in.
Yes. Thoughts?
I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed the 1 hour 49.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just had a cup of tea, watched the whole video, enjoyed certain details.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Cool. No, yeah, I mean, it can be all kinds of thoughts. So I'm just trying to get the best out of it. So maybe I can do one full video and then I can do separate sections, and I can do like both, and then we can see if it works better.
I think you can section it on YouTube, so certain topics you want to bring out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, for example, I can make a section with cylindrical bodies or cylindrical shapes, and then I cut that chunk and I post it. So cool. All right. Sounds good. So anyone else who watched the video and have some thoughts? For the people who just joined, I'm asking who watched the video, the YouTube video, and if you have any feedback or thoughts, that would be very appreciated. All right. What's going on though? Okay.
Hey guys, could you please
Bora?
unmute your microphone?
Yeah, I have the power to mute people.
Yes.
I mute him.
Yes, I said you last week. Sorry.
Yeah. I learned that from you, man.
How are you doing? I hope everything is going well.
Yeah, very good. Actually, I was asking people who watched the video, like, what are their thoughts on YouTube? Like, what do you guys think about the format? What do you guys think about the dynamic? Julian was saying that we can maybe split it in chunks, separate pieces, where we can talk more specific about a topic instead of uploading the whole thing. So,
Yes,
but I'm here to listen to some thoughts and see what we can do.
Yes, sir. I haven't watched it, yet the video. But I liked and subscribed
Okay.
your channel.
Sounds good. That's the first step.
Yes, but I will give feedback when I watch the whole video.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, I'm getting some sketches here. Let me just see what else we got. Okay, I got some sketches from Julian. I can see it. Cool. Oops. Cool. All right, just give me a second, guys. Just gonna. Henrik, were you here last time?
No, I couldn't make it last week. My sister was visiting from Denmark, so
I see.
uh,
Okay. Yeah, no worries. Yeah. No,
other things. Yeah, but excited for this.
Yeah, nice.
It seems to be a
Yeah,
really good place to exchange ideas and
exactly. Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah. No, yeah, we can go like freestyle, like you can share stuff, I can do overlays, we can talk about
Yeah.
design, we can talk about basically anything. So just feel free to jump in.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, I saw your face. I was like, I don't recall Henrik saying, okay, cool. Got new people here. All right. So we're gonna go with what's the correct pronunciation?
It's
Yeah.
Rishabh. It's Rishabh actually.
Rishabh?
Yeah, Rishabh.
And that's how you spell it?
No, that's
Okay.
that's my Gmail name, so it got transferred.
Because man, that was like, man, that's kind of
Yeah,
that's
it's
quite
actually spelled
tricky.
Rishhabh. Yeah.
So, but it's Rishabh, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right.
He is official motivator of our community.
Oh yeah, I can tell. I kind of spot the active ones already. Like one of you you're one of those, Bora. You're active too. Matu, where's Matu? Matu used to be very active. Where's Matu?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, sir.
No, I'm saying that you are one of the active ones in the chat too.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so so Rishad,
Yes,
let's go with this.
Yes, sir.
Let's go more in specific. What exactly you want me to talk about? What you work and what's going on? Let's go with the mood boards first.
Yes, sir. So basically, the mood board was to depict the translucency as well as a mysterious feeling.
Yeah.
And so Gothism is actually comprised of 3 terms. It's death or concept about death and decay, and it's also about mysterious. Something mysterious is happening behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So that also depicts Gothism. So that's the feeling that I'm trying to target here.
Yeah.
So it's mysterious but it's also like scary as well. So what happens is that humans are kind of scared of things of what they see, but they are more scared of things what they see but they can't recognize it, right? They can't see it clearly, basically. So that's what I want to add in my car key. They are not scared exactly, but they are in awe. They can't move when they see the car. But because there are like so many elements and so many things that are going on, and so many things that are behind the scenes that they are so busy looking at it, like what it is. They are trying to figure it out, like what is this and what is that, or what are the elements that I've placed in the car. So that was the main concept behind this.
Okay. No, I mean, I think the mood boards express that very well. I think something that you should keep in mind, as I mentioned at the beginning, is the translucency in your sketches somehow. There you go. So the translucency, and I think it's pretty interesting. I mean, you never know. Maybe you can have a structure, and then you have sort of like a fabric in your car. Maybe not the whole car, but some pieces. And then you need to figure out what is the thing that you want to show through the translucency, like through the glass or through the clear material. What is it? So I think this is the first question. You need to say, is it going to be the engine? Is it going to be the seats? Is it going to be the wheel suspension? So you need to think about a little bit about what is it and why. Why is important to show the translucency, and or how showing that object through translucency is going to help you to convey your point, right?
Okay. Yeah. Right.
So, and the second thing I would say is simplicity. I think it boils down to design all the time. I think it's not about making the design easy, but it's about making the design simple to read, right? So the best designs are simple to read, and it doesn't mean that they're easy to draw, right? They have a touch, and they're like a little bit like they have nuances on the lines, and you need to tune the lines very perfectly to convey that message. So that's what I mean when I talk about simplicity. I talk about making it easy to read and make it like a statement, right? So it doesn't look like I just get random lines or random shapes that they don't have like meaning at all.
Yes.
Right?
Sir.
So
Right.
yeah. So for example, here, like as your inspiration tells you, right? So you got this and it's super clear, right? That you have a prisma and it's translucent and has some textures and you have like floating elements that might be kind of like cool if you achieve it, right? These floating elements can be applied to maybe you have a logo, right, on the hood, and the logo is floating somehow, right? Maybe you have a translucent type of like post that holds the logo. Or if you want to achieve a translucent elements, you might have a, let's go to your sketches. But you might have a mirror, right? Side mirror.
Yeah.
And maybe the structure that holds the mirror is transparent, right? And then you let me see. There you go. And then you have the mirror, and then it looks like it's floating. So I think this handling the translucency is gonna give you some nice feeling on your car. But I think you need to really think through about how are you gonna achieve it, right? So right now I give you two examples, right? Let's say it looks like a luxury car. So let's say what brand is this? Or is your brand?
It's supposed to be a BMW.
BMW. Okay. So let's say I'm gonna make it. Let me go zoom out. So let's say, yeah, this is maybe you want to have the BMW logo. Oops. BMW logo floating here. Let's say, just for the sake of following the translucency path, and then you have a transparent post, right? And maybe the logo of BMW is transparent here, transparent, and then you have material, right?
Yep.
So same with the elements of the mirror, right? You have a mirror here. Maybe you have some dark surface, and then you have sort of like a structure that holds the mirror, but this structure is transparent.
Okay.
So in that way, you have a solid argument on how did you translate your translucency theme on your car, because they will ask for that. If you have that as words and mood boards, they're gonna say, okay, and how do you do it? Like, you cannot just say it, you need to show it.
Right.
So, and this is just two examples, right? It can be many things. It can be like, let's say you have a part of a chassis, maybe the rocker panel, the part of the chassis that helps to protect you for the side crashes, the T-bones, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you have, I don't know, something like that, right? And and then you see all of this kind of like hollow, and maybe this whole surface, this whole part of the body side is transparent, right? And then you can see through here, and you can see part of the chassis, kind of like a raw chassis, right? I'm not saying this is the solution, but I'm giving you like examples, like how could you make it like BMW, right? And then you have something like that, right? Where you still have your section very clean, but you see through. And then when you see through, you can put like lighting, behind.
Ambience.
you can put lighting behind this guy, so it can all glow like that from behind, right? So this is the type of things that you can achieve, right?
Yep.
So, but I think it makes, I mean, it's as I said, it's a very interesting idea to have a translucency gothic type of feeling. Because as I said, I think I said it on the chat. I think as designers, you guys need to put your ideas out there, your perspectives, right?
Yeah.
So and I think if you haven't heard about any gothic design type of thing, man, go for it. Like don't try at this point, don't try to please a brand, right? Don't try to please someone else. No, at this point you need to find what you like and what you're after, you know.
Okay.
So and then later on, if you work on a company, okay, it's a business, right? So you want to work, they're gonna pay you for do some business with them. So then it has to be a combination between the brand and between who you are. But that's why they hire you, right? Because they like your vision, they like your taste, and they say, okay, what if combine like these two things, right? So so that's what I'm saying. Like if it's like a gothic type of thing, I was like, man, I never heard of it. So that's good. So if you have another perspective, I don't know, you guys are very like interested on physics, and then you say, man, I'm gonna make a weird combination between like laws of physics, gravity, and antimatter, or whatever you're after. It's also good because it's new, right? And it's kind of like not the typical like car design, right? When I mean, I'm not gonna blame anybody who started that way. I started that way. But when I mean the typical is like you got the lion shape, right? Or the cheetah shape, right? On the side and things like that. Like that's good for start. That's a starting point, right? And it's funny because everyone start that way, right? You start with the sharks, with the cheetahs, and then you're done with all the animals, and it's like, okay, what am I doing? And then okay, you know what? Let's go to product design. Okay, and then you go on reference cars, and then but you're jumping into topics, right? And I think it's part of the process, but at the end of the day, it's good just to have your own unique point of view on cars, and that's going to show in your designs, and that's gonna make you stand out. I guarantee.
Right.
So, any thoughts, Rashid?
Yeah, I guess I understand now what I have to do as well. And actually, one thing I wanted to ask right here, like you were showing. So if you had to show translucency in a way in sketching, so what are there like any tips, or it's like open to like exploration? Because it's okay.
No, that's good. So what? No, finish.
I
just thought about something. That's why I did this.
Okay. No, the question actually ended there. It was like, is it open to exploration to like try different types of like, of showing if it's transparent or translucent?
Yeah. So one thing I'm gonna show you about sketching translucency. Let's go to another sketch. But that's why at the beginning I told you I told you just think about what exactly you want to show, because that's the first thing you're gonna draw. What's that?
Yeah. Actually, the translucency thing, I wanted to show the chassis inside, and the chassis is gonna be inspired by elements of Gundam. So that's what I wanted to show in transparent. And it's going to be black on white. Black on white in a sense, like black is the chassis that's going to be inside, and white is the translucent layer. That's going to be the surface.
Okay. This is a nice sketch. I just want to have a look at this. Okay. Cool. This is interesting. So this is going to be your front, or some ideas of your front?
Yeah, some ideas of my front.
Okay, cool. No, that's good. Okay, let's go to that translucency. Let me just pick one sketch. Let's say we pick this guy, right? So let me touch base on something pretty quick. Oh, you know what? I'll touch base on that later. Just give you something about the translucency. Oops.
Mhm.
So it's something about the wheels that. Oops. Wait, my bad. There you go.
Yeah, I guess the rear wheel is bigger than the front.
Yeah, and also,
The wheelbase. Oh,
okay, okay. Let me ask you,
Yeah.
why you do this? Why you squeeze them like that?
I,
No, just. I mean, I
Yeah.
genuinely try to know why you do it.
No, I'm also genuinely trying to think why.
It's
It's
just
actually like it's in my. I don't know why. It
Yeah.
just happens. I have to
Okay.
work on it for sure. For sure.
Okay,
I
cool.
have to make it more like less stretchy because I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
what happens is that
Mhm.
I'm sitting on the table, right? So like the front wheel always comes perfect, but the rear wheel is away from my hand, so it becomes an ellipse almost.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what I have to work on. Yeah,
yeah. Because
that's what
these
has to.
This just makes the vehicle the sketch looks first of all make it look I can tell that it makes you look amateur, quote unquote, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's like this is just a cliche, right? It's cliche. It's something that people do but they don't but there's no reason behind. It's
Yeah.
like
True.
I would say there's like a good way to do cliches and a bad way to do cliches, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So, and I would say this is a bad one because this kind of like interrupts your dynamism on the side view, right?
Yeah.
So the side view, there's nothing wrong with the side view. The sketching is kind of cool, but I think this is kind of like taking points away from your sketch. So if you have the proper wheels, would look even better. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I understand.
I'm just gonna share something really quick. I think this is going to help everybody with the side views, right? So there's two ways to do side views, right? We in reality we observe things in perspective. We don't observe things on orthographic. But for example, the no-brainer is do a circular wheel, right? Which roughly will be something like that, right? We will have, let me just put two dots. No, two things. It will be like that, right?
Mm.
You know what? My bad. Good, just gonna turn the opacity. Oops. Anyways. Stroke. Okay, let's put 15. I'm tired. Oh. Okay, 20. Boom. All right. So there's two things, two ways to do it, right? Orthographic, which is just like straight circles, right? Which is not bad. It gives you some wait. It gives you some idea on the wheels, on the body, right? The body automatically is gonna change a lot. Like you probably need to
Yeah.
put the flooring here. I mean, I don't mind about these guys. I don't mind about the rear. I think it's looking good. So, but you see, it gives you a whole different perspective of the body, right?
Right.
And this is one way, right? Which is orthographic, right? And I suspect the reason why you guys squeeze the wheels, because it's not the first. I'm not picking on you, right? It's just in general, right? I've seen this many times. But I think the reason why you guys squeeze the wheels like that a little bit is because maybe you want to add some drama or perspective, or you want the sketch to look more dynamic. So there's ways to do it, right?
Okay.
So let's say if I have a sketch here, let's say I want to do a side view sketch, right? Oops. Okay. Let's say I want to do a side view sketch, right? Then I start trying to do the wheels. Then I try to do the wheel over here, right? So what's going to happen here is that somehow my sketches look the wheels look a little bit more dynamic, right? It doesn't look like an orthographic. Right? So I didn't have to squeeze, but I trim it, I chop it here, right? I chop it. But if you think about it, my wheel is in perspective, right?
Right.
So basically I have the ellipse in perspective.
Yep.
You look at it,
Yep.
ellipse in perspective, and I crop it. And that's the way you can make dynamic side views, right? Because you need to have your ellipses and then trim it. And that's let's say a good way to do cliches, because basically your wheel is in the right position, but you just trim it. But if your wheel you have it just like an ellipse like that, it doesn't make any sense, because you would see an ellipse if you have a tip up. But if you have a side view, you wouldn't see an ellipse. So that means that your wheel is elliptical, it's not circular. So that kind of like makes you think like something is off, right? But if your wheel is in the right position and you just decided to trim it like that, it's acceptable, because it's like, oh yeah, I can see still a circle, right?
Right.
So I would say for your side views,
Yeah, I'll work on it.
yeah, whenever you're doing side views, I would suggest to do the wheels in perspective, right? To make it dramatic.
Okay.
And the way I do it is just the way I show you. So let's say have the axles here. Oh, come on. There you go. Have the axles, right? Axles. Then you have 90 degree. And this is, and as I said, this is a little bit like exaggeration, little like cheating, right? Because that's how you do sketches. You try to like kind of like cheat the crap out of it and try to come up with something cool, right? But make sure when you cheat it, make sure you're doing it right?
Okay.
So
So,
yes.
can I ask a question?
Yes.
The reason why you did that because of the side view actually is 1 point perspective, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So let's say yeah. Thanks for throwing that in. That's true. Like when you do a side view, just think about. I mean, if you want to do a dramatic side view, right? Just think of it as you're doing a side view inside of the box, and it's 1 point perspective, right? 1 point of view perspective, like this, right? So this is going to help you just to give you a nice feeling of where you're looking, right? And in reality, this is how you look at side views, right? You're never going to look at side view like an orthographic. That's just for blueprints, right? You don't really see it orthographic. Every time you go to street, if you think about it and if you look closely at the side view, like if you are like a couple feet away from the side view and you just like lay down, not lay down, but kind of like go low and try to see the whole thing, you're going to notice that the wheels are a little bit distorted, just a little bit, a slightly bit, but there's not going to be a perfect circle like orthographic. No, that you're going to see them in perspective. So it's exactly the feeling that you're trying to do here.
Okay.
So every time you start a side view, please just do this 90 degrees. And as I said, this is a complete circle, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm doing here is just like chopping it. But it's a honest full circle in perspective, right? And I'm just trim it, right?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you can do the side view. And the side view is gonna look cool, almost like by default, because the the wheels are already in perspective,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So, and then you can go around like that, right?
Mhm.
I'm just trying to make something up here, but and then you can always exaggerate the perspective.
Yeah. So full circle, 90 degrees and trim it. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I'll keep these things in mind next time I try a side view.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, well, yeah, in automatic, that it helps a lot the side view to look good.
Yep.
Even though it's rough, but you can see like it's sort of somehow in
Yeah.
perspective, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Just by having these type of circles, because it's not like full orthographic circles. So that's all.
Okay. Yes, I'll definitely work on this, and I'll keep this in mind every time I make a side view for sure.
Yeah. And still, you can roughly see the wheels like in the right position. They're not too exaggerated, and they still feel perspective. So
Right.
that's why there's something about reality that kind of like just it looks right, but it's because of that. So that's why good cliches works, because I mean you're doing the cliche for a reason. It's not just like random, you know. So yeah, it's already in perspective. Cool. Any questions, thoughts? All good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's go to the translucency stuff. So let's say you want to show the translucency on something about this guy, right? Let's fix this guy. I like that it's already like looking like a very long vehicle, almost like Bodymobile vibes, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if somebody told you that, but yeah. Give me those vibes.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So this wheel, I'm just gonna trim it a little bit here, but
Yeah,
this
yes.
wheel looks too narrow, right? So I think it's too much. I get the idea, like the wheel looks the farthest, it looks the more squeezed, but I think it's just a little bit too much. It can be less,
Okay.
right? Oops.
Yeah.
Can be sort of like that, maybe. So, and just take care of your wheels a little bit more, because you see now your wheels is just like looks like an egg, probably.
Parabola? Yes.
Yeah, it looks like has like an eggy feel, because it
Yeah.
does this, right? And then I imagine that there's a curve and you have a crack here, right? It's an egg.
Yeah. Wheels.
So,
Yep.
oops. So if I have to put some, sketch on top, well, I will definitely have more curve here. And I will have more curving here. Right. We'll have it roughly like that. Okay, so let me go to your cabin. So your idea is to have a very long dash to axle type of vehicle?
Yep.
Right? Okay. Probably the cabin, we can go a little bit bigger, slightly bigger. Make sure the body is a little bit more complete.
Okay.
Right, so you want to pronounce your curves. Make sure all your lines are positive, right? And let's assume, as an exercise, let's assume your wheel is here, right? And let's say the front wheel is roughly here, right? So, and if you think about the relationship between the A post and your center wheel, the way you put your pillar at the beginning, which is here, the other side of the A post is just here. And if you see the relationship between this and your center wheel, is just too long.
Yeah, it's so far.
You see?
Hmm.
That's the reason I'm doing a C post, an A post. Sorry, I'm doing the A post. I'm basing this one here and saying, okay, this is how much is between the axle of the wheel and the dash. So then that's why I'm going to stretch it a little bit more like that, probably, right? And that's going to help, right? It's a super long car, right? So
Yeah.
just little corrections on the perspective, but I would think of it as like that, right? Maybe this guy needs to go in a little bit more.
Mhm.
But it's all about, as I said, is sometimes it's about you can still cheat the perspective, but try to cheat it in a way that it kind of looks correct, right? It doesn't look off.
Yep.
Right? Because this is sketching is all about like expression, right? You always try to yeah, I would say like that.
Mhm.
You do this perspective wise, that kind of look better. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and still you have your cabin that very short, very powerful body, but proportion wise, I think is a little bit better. Right?
Definitely.
Yeah, those are like little thoughts in here on about perspective. So translucency.
Yep.
So first, just gonna put a quick example here.
Mhm.
The first thing we need to do is what are the parts that you're gonna show in translucency. So let's say you have all this panel translucent. I don't know, or let's say you have a piece here,
Yeah.
right? Let's say you have a piece here that you want to show translucency. I would say sketch the piece first, right?
Okay.
So I'm just trying to follow your forming here.
Yeah.
Let's say, let's do something random, right? So right now, I'm just gonna focus on sketching your piece, right? Nothing else.
Okay.
Just gonna try to do something, try to follow the form, right? Roughly what you have here. So let's say if you have a BMW likes that, maybe you have like a wing in here, right? Just gonna try to come up with something.
Mhm.
Let's say you have something here, right? Just gonna sketch it very rough first, right? Then you have sort of like a cone. Then you have another one, cone like that. Right, so let's say I'm trying to get also like a very gothic type of piece.
Yeah.
Kind of helps with your design, right? So yeah, I guess that works. So anyone, if you guys want to jump in and comment something, or if you have any thoughts, just please jump in. We're trying to figure things out here. It'll be maybe here. So then you have the curve, right? So as you guys can see at the beginning, I'm just trying to figure things out roughly, right? Trimming parts, chopping, try to get a feeling of okay, what kind of geometry am I trying to do? That is just part of it, right? And then you clean up later, but you need to have a rough idea, right? And this is basically how it goes. You have a rough idea what to do, and then you think about cleaning the whole part, but you first need to do it quick, right? So then you don't spend much time on something that the perspective is wrong and something that it doesn't look as good.
Okay.
So, but you see, like I'm just adding a piece, let's say a made up piece that you might want to show in translucency, right?
Yeah.
Like that, right? So that's why it's important. You need to know what is it, right? First.
Okay.
So, and then, oops. Let's say I'm gonna do a quick overlay of this thing, right? I'm gonna forget about this guy for a bit. Okay. Gonna make a quick overlay. And then here, let's say in this overlay, I'm gonna try to figure out the details, right? Roughly, what is the shape, right? Maybe you have a cool feature here. And yeah, this is technically the secret of doing, well, not the secret, but the logic behind the translucency parts. The translucent parts, because you need to know what is it that is going to show, right? And then if you know what is going to show, you can just put the surface on top, right? So, yeah, this is my take on Gothic design.
Looks cool.
Yeah.
Looks really cool.
Yeah.
So, what is this part actually that you have taken for translucency?
What's that?
What is the part that you have taken for this translucency of the car?
This one.
If you have to put a name to it.
Oh, what is the part? What is the name?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I would
Like
say
there's a rocker panel. So, like, what is this part of the car that you have taken?
yeah, it's just like a part of a chassis, like a part of there's a
the
part of the
main structure.
yeah, there's a part of the chassis at the front that is called, I think it's like a crash can.
Okay.
Which is like I mean the logic behind is like, I guess it looks like a can that you just crash it and just like squeeze it. So it's kind of like the part of the chassis that absorbs the impact when it's from the front.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and I would say it's just some sort of like a part of a crash can. So I would say that. So, but yeah, what this project will show in your portfolio is creativity. It's just like, okay, you're thinking about different approaches. It doesn't mean that part exists, but that part is sort of like inspiring, right? To maybe do some other different parts, right?
Yep.
Because that's what in the studios. That's what they want to see. They want to see just different perspective. If you think about it, all studios they have their own designers, and they've been doing cars for a while, right? So they know cars, man. Like if you came and say, "Oh yeah, I mean this car, that car," it's like, yeah, so what? I know those cars. I work on those. Like they know the cars. So what do you think is what they want to see on a new designer?
creativity, I guess.
Well, yeah,
Something fresh.
different perspectives, right?
Perspective. Yeah,
You
yeah.
have a different perspective, different approach, right?
Mm.
You see ways
Yep.
different way. So, and that's why they say, you know what, we need this guy because it might be a good combination. But if you're a guy who only does normal cars, you know everything about cars, but all your cars look like cars.
Yeah.
So they're gonna say, well, I mean, nice cars, but that's what we do here, and we need something with a different perspective, right? Something fresher, like something to get excited, right? So that's basically the logic, right? So okay, so I'm almost done with the Gothic element. Gothic element. All right. But yeah, basically I would suggest just to play around with forms like that. Right. It got to the point that is Gothic probably in the way it looks language wise. But just make sure it's not too complicated, right? I try my best not to make it too complicated, but I just want to prove a point here. Just want to.
Yeah, so it looks simple, but it's complicated as well. But
Yeah,
you can read it easily.
Yeah, you can read it because it's like I have two lamps, set of wings.
Yeah. Bat wings.
Yeah,
Angel
bat
wings.
wings, Batman wings. So
Yes, I got also the fighter jet vibes from this.
yeah, that too.
From the Jetsons, I guess. That was a show, I guess.
Jetson.
Yeah, it looks somewhat similar. I
Yeah,
can't put
yeah.
the name on the cover.
Yeah, no, and that's part of it. Like you want to do
Yeah, it looks
interesting things, you know.
Mm.
Like you want people to say, "Hey, what the heck is that?" Right? You don't want people to say like, "Oh yeah, I saw that BMW, blah blah blah." Oh, it looks like the classic BMW, blah blah blah. Like you don't want people to say that.
Yeah.
You want people to say, "Oh, that looks like the future of BMW."
True.
So, anyways, there you go. Without the overlay, kinda base the point. Right? So let's say this is your part. And we come back to your sketch. Right? Let's say this is one way you can show
translucency,
right? Because you're going to work on the same perspective. You have your sketch, and then what you're gonna do next, let's say I'm gonna go I'm gonna go and try to get some of your surface in here, right? Just gonna do it at the front. Oops. Let's say I want to get something like this, that, right? Just gonna try not to make it too complicated because since you have a translucency already, I think it's good to not make it too complicated. So gonna have this. Now at this point, you're gonna think about the exterior design, right? Try to make it simple, but don't think about just try to make the simple surfaces for the exterior design. That's it. That's all you need. That's all you need to think about now, right? Section lines, that's important. Right? Then let's say we have something more. It gives me a little like a Bentley.
Yeah.
Bentley
Because of the
vibes.
headlights, I
Yeah, the
guess.
headlamps. Yeah.
The circular headlights.
Which doesn't matter. You can just go for it. Just go for it.
Mhm.
And look at this here. Oops. My bad. And then let's say we have a try to simplify this body side. Right?
Yep.
You see how this line goes like that and then this gun shooting up?
Yeah.
Like it's better if you align those, right? You have maybe this guy and you move it like that. You're a little bit wedge, right? Then this is more connected, right? Yeah. No, but I like the section lines that you're putting here. I think it helps to read the car way better. So okay, let's just do this part.
Yeah.
So far so good, guys. Any questions, thoughts? All right. Ooh, okay, let's give it a shot like that. So then we have your translucency part. Let's say, let me just save a copy first. But let's say you're not going to see certain parts, right? So let's say on the wheel, you might not see it, right? You chop it.
Okay.
And from there, let's say you see it, right?
And then I just shade above it,
Yes.
like the surface, the body basically.
Yeah, whatever. And then here you need to decide what kind of things you want to show, right? Maybe you have a mask, right? Let's say that's why I was stressing out on making simple because you can read the shapes better. So let's say you have a mask in here, right? So you have the whole front translucent, right? So let's say from here, you don't see anything about the form, right?
Yeah, it looks a bit translucent here.
Yeah. Yeah, so then here, what you're gonna start doing like shapes, right? You need to focus on the shapes now, right? Let's say if I want to do some, okay, this has to be underneath, right? So let's say if I want to do some shading like that, right? It's almost like, this is the point that almost like you need to render like glass, you know?
Right.
Then you have some trims in here. Oops. Right here, you have this guy exposed, so you probably won't need lines on top of this guy. You won't need lines on top of this guy. You will probably gonna make some accents here. But this gives you an idea how your shape works in relation with the top surface, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a little bit too, as I said, it takes time, it gets a little complicated because you need to figure out the pieces. But
after that, it's simple, I guess.
Yeah. So that's why is keeping it simple is key.
It's better.
Especially if you're gonna show these type of things.
Right.
Let's say and then what you're gonna do is just put sort of like shading on top.
Shading, yeah. Yes, I get the idea now.
Yeah.
Like the basic logic, it's getting clearer in my head right now.
Yeah, it's getting like clear.
Yeah.
Clear surfacing, and then you try to shade it like that, and then you let the underneath expose a little bit. So yeah, so roughly I can tell that something is translucent here.
Translucent, yeah.
Or something is like showing underneath, right?
Yep. And so after this, for the paint thing that you did, the basically render.
Yeah.
So I can to make it look like a bit frosted. I can do a blur over it.
What do you mean?
Like a frosted glass thingy.
Yeah.
So we can just put a blur as well, right, over it.
Yeah, you can put blur. Yeah.
And
yeah.
like I'm asking, like for exploration, that's good.
Yeah,
or that will make it a little bit more complicated in the early stages, and I should save it for the last.
No, I mean it's fine if you do it from the beginning. I mean the design process is all kinds of approaches. So yeah.
Yeah.
So and also in your pages, when you're doing this, for example, you can show. You can show how this thing is, right? Kind of like the inner piece, right?
Yeah.
And that helps you to convey the point, right?
Yes.
But basically, in theory, is you should have simple surfaces, right? And then you have internal element, ideally simple. That was just me trying to do my take on Gothic, but yeah, technically it should be simpler.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Right.
actually concentrating on the wrong stuff, I guess. I should have concentrated on the inside stuff that's going to be translucent.
If it's going to be translucent, yeah, the
The main
insides
stuff is inside, yeah.
insides are like the main.
Right. Okay, so I'll definitely work on it.
Oops.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then you can tell that there's something underneath,
Yes, sir.
right? So, all right. And also you can make the argument that you have sort of like a bend in here, just like that. Right? Like the air goes in there, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's many things you can do. So, but yeah, all of this is translucent. Well, I mean, at least this part, right? You also make your hood, maybe you make it hollow like that, right? Looks like that. So air goes in and air goes out somewhere in here, or somewhere in here.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
Yes, sir, I get that. I'll try this for sure.
Yeah. So just try to keep the inner pieces simple. You need to design two things, right? You need to design your simple piece at the outer surface, right? Outer surface, simple piece, and then inner surface, simple piece, right? In, out. Then you shade this guy. You put the simple shading on this guy, which is your simple surface, right? Make sure it reads well.
Yep.
Right. Oops. You combine them together.
Yep.
And you get translucency.
Translucency.
So make sure out is simple.
Yeah. Okay.
And in can be a little bit technical, techy, because then you create a nice contrast. If you have complex,
Yeah.
plus complex,
Yeah.
it's just a mess. But if you have a simple plus complex, it creates a gesture.
Right.
That's why even though in shapes, when you have this, let me put an example, a visual example, right? When you have this, right? Kind of like look like a piece of art, right? If you do just a line like that and then a big swoop, right?
Yeah.
This, that's why the signatures are like that, right?
Yeah.
Because these all curves is simple, and then this one complex, and creates gesture.
Okay.
Whether if you have simple and simple, it's like kind of static, or you have complex and then complex, it's just like doesn't tell me anything.
Yeah.
Simple versus complex.
Yes.
So just try to get something like that. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Cool. So does that solve your question?
Yeah.
Is it clear? Or is it something else? Am I missing something or?
No, sir. You
All good?
pretty much covered and did half of my design as well. So
Okay.
it's pretty much good. Yeah. I got the basic concept and I'll work on it. Basically, I'll make the outside more simpler, I guess.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yep.
All right. Who's this?
Me, sir.
Is it here?
I'm here.
Oh yeah. Halil
Yes,
or Halil?
Halil.
Halil. So where are you from, Halil?
Turkey.
Turkey. Okay. Is it Turkey, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I heard I think in the chat you said you're what, 16? Going to school, something like that?
I'm going to high school for now. Next year I will be university.
Oh,
I'm
nice,
going to-
nice. Okay. So what's your question here? Improving, you're trying to improve your focus point in hand perspective, right?
Yes, exactly.
What are your thoughts in here? Like what's the thing you struggle, or what is the thing that you want to touch base on?
I tried to copy the McLaren P1 and try to mix with my drawing.
Okay. How long you been sketching?
I'm sketching from my child, but about professional about 1 year. Not
1 year.
professional, but I try to improve myself about 1 year.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the so this is what you do in classes, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah, because I can see the paper. All right. So first things first. It's not a bad sketch. I mean, it's you said you're trying to mimic some of the stuff out there, which is it's a good start, I would say. First thing that caught my eye is don't try to vectorize all your lines, right? This is the first sort of like thing that you need to get away from your system, right? What I mean with this is you have shapes here that are just like all the way vectorized, right? All the way, like every single shape that you have here is closed, right? Every single one. You see, that's what I mean. Every single shape that there's no thick to thin here, right? You need to have a thick to thin, and you need to be able to banish lines, right? To disappear, right? And all your lines are just connected, right? It's like me. Yeah. So I would say just try to do that exercise first, right? If I was going to correct your car, let's say we can correct the wheels just like that, right? Okay, let's say wheels are correct, right? And then if I was going to do the volumes, I would probably do something like this, where we're gonna have this line here, right? But then probably I'll banish it there, right? And I'm not gonna, you see, like I would not go here and touch it, right? I would just like make it disappear over here, just right here. So the same way, if this is like a very basic like example, like I'm giving you a simple exercise so you can just practice. But in all your cars, where the bigger lines are, the main lines, just try to do this exercise where you're just gonna draw it, sketch it, right? And banish it, right? So you're gonna banish the line here and here, right? What it's going to give you is more like a volume with thus it's not too vectorized, right? It doesn't end on peaks like that, right? Because you're closing all the lines, right? And the sketch it doesn't look that dynamic, right? That fresh. Same with this one, right? Just practice that one for now, right? You do this. You do this like that, right? Same from the bottom. You draw another line at the bottom, right? And where the focal point is, you're gonna put more intensity, I would say, right? So you want to put details, make sure those are just like details. It's not the whole car, just like that, you see? Like it's a closed shape, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be connected with this guy and connected with this guy and this guy connected here and this guy connected here, because it's gonna just make your whole shapes just very, very 2D. That's a problem. If you want to make 3D shapes, you need to be more loose, thick to thin, and try to disappear, because these lines are going to communicate volumes. These lines don't communicate just like 2D lines all the way, right? So it's volumes. Same with this guy, right? Same over here, right? And if you think about it, it's exactly the same sketch. I'm not even changing that much, right? Just to show you that example, right? Let's say you have another line here. Another line here, right? Just like that, right? You see? It's exactly the same sort of a line work that you had, but I'm just apply thick to thin, and I'm trying not to connect all the lines, right? So, and let's say you have a lamp, McLaren lamp, right? Right. Second thing is, first is the lines, second is section lines. Just try to do a section line. You can be just do 1 or 2 section lines that look very, that helps you to read the shape, the body side in this case, right? So you need to be able to do a line that goes all the way through the window and maybe goes to the volume, wraps around, goes like that, right? So just in strategic parts, right, where you're gonna see it here, right, like that, right? So you read your whole shape, right?
Okay.
So is that clear?
I understand. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
And can I ask a question, please?
Yes.
How can I shade it? I don't know how can I shade it. I just try it to looks good, but I don't know how to do it.
Okay. Let's go to the. I'm just gonna quickly give you an introduction, but if you go to YouTube, the last session, were you here? Last session?
I didn't understand.
Oh, were you here in last session? This is the second time we met.
First.
Oh, is this the first time? Okay, yeah. So in YouTube, I'll put the link on it on the community. And if you go through the link in YouTube, I was explaining how to shade with simple cylinders, right? Where you have shading like that, right? This is a section of a cylinder, right? Are you familiar with primitive shapes with cylinders, cones, spheres, and all that? Are you familiar?
Not too much.
Okay. So let's say this is a section of a cylinder, right? And basically every shape that you have here mostly is a section of a cylinder, right? Every single shape that you have here is a section of a cylinder, right? So I would say just start simple, right? Let's say if I have a cylinder like that, you can literally start with this exercise, right? You have a shading, right? Like that, right? Dark at the front and vanish, fade away through this on the sides, right? So if you do that here with the same logic, right? Just try to start like that, right? This is going to give you a nice foundation on shading, but it doesn't mean like that the shading is perfect, right? But it gives you something to work on, right? And this is what you need, right? So let's say on the body side, you just sort of follow the shape, right? And if you want to shade, just do this, like a cylinder, and just start like that, right? I'm just trying to break it down for you and just like, it's just simple where you just like go to here, through here, right? Here, through here. And that's how you're going to start shading. From the hood, same thing. You're going to grab the hood and you're going to shade just like that. This is like the most basic exercise just to begin to shade, right? Just imagine everything is a section of a cylinder and you just like shade everything as a cylinder in certain areas, right? Not everything, but in certain areas. If you look closer, this guy is a cylinder too, right? A section. So what you're gonna do is same. You're gonna shade here, right? Just like that, and it's gonna look round automatically, right? Because you just need to observe that. Cylinders, 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 cylinders. Right? Front, the roof, cabin, same logic, right? If you try to do all this type of shading in all your designs, by default, in automatic, your designs are gonna look better. Because it's following logic of shading, right? You see how it looks more, has more volumes just by applying that logic. So
Sorry, Omar.
Yeah.
For example, in the rooftop area, isn't it going into the other direction?
that depends of the lighting.
Okay.
Yeah, because right now I'm imagining that the lighting goes this way. So the lighting is coming from the top, right? And also you have to consider that this is the type of exercise to sort of like understand the geometries, right? If we go to reality, yeah, it might be shading different way. Not this way, because it'll shade this way if the lighting is coming from this way. So I'm imagining the light coming from the side view, right? If it's coming from the front, yeah, the shading is gonna change, right?
Okay.
So it really depends on the on what are you doing with the shade, like where is the light, right? So let's say, for the sake of an argument, let's for showing, let's say the light is coming from this way, right? So then, oops. So then there's now the shading will be maybe this way, right? That's what you meant, right? Like this?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. If the shading is the lighting is changing direction. Yeah. Probably. Okay, where is it? Try to find this guy. Okay, there you go. So, yeah, then you will have shapes like that, right? Who's putting check marks on my screen? Yeah. So it, as I said, it all depends direction of the light, right? That's why in some of my sketches, when I do it, some of them are like shading a little bit different, but it's because of that, right? If I was going to do for example, the hood in here, I will shade it like that, roughly, right? You see, I will shade it this way, right? Because then the light is coming here. So it means this reads like a cylinder that goes, or cylinder in general, right? But a surface that bends, right? And the surface at some point has to have a chord. And that's why I'm shading that way, right? But yeah, it all depends. So light moves very differently. You can play around with that. This is just a way to show form. That's it. This is just show form, right? It shows that surfaces are like that, right? So, and Halil, just think about that. Think about all the cars are just little sections of cylinders, and you're just gonna shade them accordingly. That's it.
I
Good.
get it. Thank you so much.
Good. Does that helps? Do you think you're gonna be able to practice by yourself later?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, anyone else? Any thoughts so far? I think I need to wrap it up probably in 10 minutes. So, any last thoughts or anything you guys want to touch on, or any feedback about how to carry the sessions? What do you guys think?
Yeah, Omar, I wanted to ask, do you know when you design or have a sketch? So
Yeah.
I was like, I gave some pictures in just because I was struggling, but how do you refine some ideas, or how do you develop into your designs where you're like, yeah, this is the path that I want to take?
What do you mean specifically with that? Like from inspiration forms, or from you have a sketch and you want to make it look good? Like what's the specific issue?
Yeah, the more of the second part, what you just said. So like I said, I've put a few sketches up on the chat itself.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted to know mentality wise, how would you pick something where you're like, this is what I want to develop, or how would I refine surfaces?
Well, I think first it depends on the mission of the car. Like what is the purpose? For example, the previous example, the Rashid. So we have a car that is Gothic, right? And I think the way you're gonna spot something that you like is because it's matching with your objective, right? The things that you're looking for, which is in this case a Gothic car, right? So if you're looking for an off-roady, or you're looking for a sports car, like you just need to think about that what you're sketching matches with what you're looking for. So, and then when it comes to aesthetics, I would say it has to be something that is simple to read, right? And as I said at the beginning, when it's simple, it doesn't mean that it's simple in a sense that it's easy, or it doesn't mean in a sense that I'm just gonna go for a square, because it's simple. I'm just gonna go for a square and that's it. That's my design. Like, no, that could be a nice architecture to go for it, right? But it doesn't mean that the design stopped there. Like, it means that that's the type of feeling you want to get, which is simple. So my mentality when I'm drawing and I'm sketching something usually is I just sketch many ideas, and I make sure that my ideas have powerful architectures, right? So if I'm gonna sketch a sports car, let's say I have an architecture who goes like this, right? And maybe have another, and I have a surface like that. I'm just making that up, right? A surface like that, right? And then let's say I want to make this guy a Mercedes-Benz, right? There you go. So I just make sure like this is something I will pick. Why? Because it's like it has like a nice architecture. It's something that I can develop, right? Or if I'm making some other, like, I don't know, let's say I have a circle and then I have a cone like that, right? And I have another inverted cone like that, right? Then I have a feature on the side, right? And let's say I want to do an autonomous path, right? If I want to, this is a little bit more like symmetrical. If I want to do an autonomous path, right, for delivery or whatever, I will pick this. But if I want to do a sports car, I will do this. So just make sure when you're doing your themes, you choose something that has a very clear architecture, because on that you can grab that as a material to keep developing your form, right? Whether if you, in contrast, if you choose something just random, right? that it doesn't give you information. You need information, and then you put the automotive aspects later. So that you get what I mean? Did I?
Yeah. Okay.
Does that
So
solve the
that kind
question?
of leads me to another question. So in previous on the stream, you mentioned about car designers just know cars; they want to see something different.
Yeah.
So how would we, like, what was your creative process of making your own brief, or how would you stand out? That's my kind of question then.
You need to take a little bit more risks. That's what I realize, in a sense that it's easy just to go to the safe path, like, oh well, this looks like a current BMW, so it looks good. Oof, phew, right? But I think what you want to do is just something a little bit more shocking, right? Or something that different. So what you need to do is just to kind of like ignore what the industry is doing now and try to do your own thing. But it has to be the right thing also. Like it doesn't mean like, not because it's different it's good, right? So it has to be different and good. So and to make something look different and good, you need to be able to have some skills about design sensitivity, about balance, about things that I talked before, like which is simple versus complex. You create gesture, so you need to be able to have that ability, and then you need to go your own route, right? Gothic or spaceship, or if you're interested in biology, go to the microscopic animals, or if you're on mathematics, go to a formula, and the formula gives you sort of like a certain geometry, like things like that, But you need to find your own, kind of like your own path if you want to stand out. So, but if you're trying just to mimic what the industry is doing, you're just gonna kind of like catch up on what they're doing, but not really putting a statement out there. Like it's gonna be hard to stand out, because it's like, I mean, pretty much everyone is doing that.
Sure, I didn't get the idea because I didn't know what does that word mean. I guess you said shauki. What does that mean? I haven't heard that word.
What word?
You said you need to take risks, and
Yes.
sharpie or what that word?
Maybe
I couldn't remember.
Maybe it's my second language. You need to be able to show something different. You need to be able to stand out. Yeah, maybe I misspell something. But in general, it's like you need to be able to show something like that is different. That is that people are not doing, right?
Yes.
So
I also always sketch some the basic cars, but I didn't I didn't sketch some unusual stuffs because I guess I'm afraid.
Yeah. No, I think I mean, especially when you're a student, I think it's the time to explore. Because it's the time to explore, so you can stand out and they can hire you, or you can do your own. And then when you're in the industry, you need to follow a little bit more rules, because you are working on a business, right? And they try to make cars. Like this is the nature of every business, right? So, but I think student phase is exactly the phase where you need to be exploring the most, right? You need to be like just doing crazy stuff, right? And the way to get there is just like, as I said, making little doodles, having powerful geometries, and try to put some automotive cues in there, right? Don't try to come up all the time with conventional. Don't try to make cars mimicking other cars, right? Try to make cars following the rhythm of your main architecture, right? So if I give you a simple example here, it's like if this is my form, I'm not gonna put a hood in here and lights in here. Like I'm basically erasing what I'm thinking. Why? Because this is conventional. Why am I putting a greenhouse like that? Because it's what I see. It's what I see on the streets. But no, if you want to push the envelope, just follow the rhythm of your theme. So, which means I might be able to put, yeah, maybe you put wheels. I'm not gonna put fenders. I'm just gonna make a cutting here, and I'm just gonna put the wheels exposed, right? I'm gonna expose the wheel here.
You try to say when we add headlights and wheels, automatically our brains constrains ourselves, right?
Yeah, you go for the conventional, like you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a trap. It's tricky because you need to put some automotive cues, like you need to put some wheels, you need to put some headlamps, you need to put some greenhouse, DLOs like glass on the car, but also you want to do it in a way that it goes with the rhythm of your flow, your design, your form. So, and that's what I'm saying. Like you need to put automotive stuff, but just make sure it doesn't disrupt what you're doing, right? Doesn't make sure that doesn't like transform your design into a conventional design. Make sure you grab it as a function that, okay, I need a window. What does having a window means? Well, it means that you're just gonna have a clear glass so people can see through. That's it. It doesn't mean that has to have the shape that all the cars have. So that's what I mean. So for example, here, if I was just to transform this guy into something, right? Well, I will shape this guy like that. I will have section lines, right? I will have maybe vertical lamps like that because it goes with my design. I will have the splitter here, right? You have a picture like that, you know? So then, yeah.
I just want to learn what are the basic elements of front in front bumper. I was just trying to say we know there are headlights, grills, and what kind of things should be there in conventional cars? Splitters, you said splitters, right?
I would separate it in two things. Oh, well, couple of things, but two main things. One is just the body, right? You just need to have a body, a frame at the front, right? Body.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one is just the splitter.
Well, it is called front fascia or front bumper?
Oh, what do you mean? Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, this is part of the splitter is part of the bumper, but I would say I don't want you to be confused with many features because otherwise your car is gonna become very conventional. So that's why I'm just dividing things in two, right? I'm dividing things in, if you're gonna make a front view, right? You're gonna have your wheels. Let's say it's a BMW, right? So you're gonna have volume, main volume here. Main volume, which is this guy, right? And then the secondary volume, which is the splitter, right? And after that, well, you put headlamps, right? And maybe you start putting like the vents, right, at the front. But that's it. If you overthink that, you're gonna end up doing just a car, normal car. If you want to explore, you need to simplify the parts, right? Regardless of the function at this point, right? So there's a point where you need to explore and you need to stop thinking too much about like what a car is and the function and all that. Because otherwise you're gonna end up just doing a regular car. So I would just split it in those two main keys, which is the body, and the second one is just the splitters, right? Because the section between the body and the splitter, you're gonna have a vent to let the air in, right? And between the body and the splitter, you can have a grill, right? But there's not a rule what is the shape of the grill, right? If I want to have a grill here, I just have lines in here, you know? That's my grill, right? But it flows, right? If I want to have a splitter, okay, my splitter is here, right? If I want to have a bend, well, my bend is kind of like included in here, right? My bends are here, right? But you don't disrupt the design. The design is still, it keeps the fresh form, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Same for the rear. Just get a volume and diffuser. That's it. So just whatever you see in Formula One cars that they have a big volume like that, right? Probably they have the 6 dot, 8 dots. I don't know what that is, right? And they have just like a big diffuser like that, right? And then the wheels. And then they have obviously the aerodynamic whatever thing, but two things, right? Two things. Big volumes, right? And then down here, splitter, a diffuser, right? So just divide it in those two. So you can think better. You can think in a very simple, holistic way when you design, right? You don't get distracted with many details. You just try to design a cool volume and a complementary shape. That's how you should see it, right? Cool volume and complementary shapes. That's it. You need to think more about shapes rather than cars. Because otherwise, as I said, sometimes when you know too much about cars and you cannot think about outside of the box of cars, it's very hard to innovate because you're just gonna be doing cars. And to be a car designer, you need to do more than that, right? So, all right. So, is everyone cool?
Yeah. Omar, could I just wanted to ask something. Do you know in the future, like as this community like grows, would you do sketch battles or like you give us a brief and then we can try and draw
Yeah.
or...
No, yeah, I think that's a very good comment. I mean, was it you that mentioned it? No, I think it was Bora. I think Bora mentioned it too. That we should have probably like competitions, and I think it's really true. Like we can do like either competitions or at least kind of like a brief, something that follow along, and maybe I can just give review, and if everyone is on the same brief, maybe we can all like learn together. Because I get it. I mean, I can just review so much sketches, right? Like we have probably like an hour or an hour and a half, and it's just like I cannot check everyone's sketches, right? I'm doing my best, but I think I'm thinking about those things, right? How to make it a little bit more dynamic, where everyone can participate and everyone can just follow the brief. But yeah, I mean, any idea that you guys have is very welcome, and we can see how can we make a small brief and maybe I can help you guys to do projects, right? So you can put them in your portfolio, right? So
yeah, that'd be great to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. So yeah. So any ideas that you guys have, you can just like share it on the chat, right?
Hello, sir. Can you review my sketch which I have sent in the meeting chat?
Okay. Where is it? Let me check the. Just give me a second. Let me check the chat.
I just want to say about competition. I just said it as an idea. It may be different things. A competition is just an idea. We can do different things also. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No. For sure. I think we can do many things. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, and it can be a way so we can all like be more engaged, and I can just give you there's a chance to give you more feedback, guys. So
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay,
let me just all right, I'm just gonna check this sketch, and I had to go. unfortunately, but I'll see you guys probably next week, right? So let me just check this last one. Oh, so what's going on with this sketch? What's the concern?
Actually, I I was trying to practice surfaces and reflections, but I don't know where I should improve or where I have done something wrong or something like that. If you could tell that.
Yeah. Okay. So this becomes a little bit tricky because it's color, right? So I would suggest for you to practice surface in black and white first, right? And then we jump into color.
Okay.
But I can give you an example here. So I would suggest just try to identify the color that you're working with, right? Because this is the tricky part about colors, right? So I'm going to just, let's say I'm just gonna click here and I'm gonna start building my palette, right? First of all, I can barely see the changing, the surface changing. I can barely see it, right? You need to be able to have values that shows light and shows like dark, right? So if we double click here, right? I would suggest you guys, if you want a stable color, go to the B, right? If you go to L, it gives you a transition, right? If you go to B, it gives you the same color, just in the same different intensity. So I would say have 3, right? Have dark one, right? And then have a middle one, right? And then have one very light all the way. Oops, very light all the way, right? Maybe on the dark one, we can go a little bit darker, right? Right, but this is the whole thing, right? So if you were gonna show some surfaces here, right, that I see that you're doing it already, right? So if you want to show that the surface is clearly not showing too much light, you're gonna show the dark color first, right? And maybe you can erase, right? This is just very brief, just to try to tell you guys how to divide the colors in 3, right? Well, let's say you have something like that, right? Like that. That's the first one, right? And then a layer at the bottom of that, right? You need to show the secondary color, right? Just that, right? And then after that, you show the lighter color, which is that. And just gonna cut in here. Just gonna cut in here. So I would suggest to first, before you get into any type of reflections, you need to get you need to get a feeling how to make your values read first, right? If I do something like this, now it's easier to read the surface, right? This is where you had before, right? It's almost like flat. And here it's more understandable, right? So it's exactly what you need to start doing it. Try to understand the shapes. For example, you have a shape that goes like this, goes in, it goes out, and then goes in, right? And that's going to tell me that there's not too much. Oops, let me just do it another layer. Okay. This, and this, right? And this telling me that there's not too much lighting here. There's a lot of lighting here. This is dark, and this is light. Right? So just try to do this exercise in all your surfaces, right? Just to begin with, I think right out of the bat, that's what I see that is going to help you. So just identify what is the dark one, light one, dark one, light one, and just render accordingly, right? So it's something that is going to help you also on the body side. You're gonna do the same, right? And
Right.
yeah, and also another tip, I mean, if you want to make your surface look round, just sort of make a selection the way you have it, right? And let's imagine this white light is kind of like telling me that there's light behind the car and it has to be projected. Since all the surfaces in your car are round, it's better if you do this, right? Because then you show that the car is round, right? And you do this all the way, right? Right? And if you want, you invert the selection, and you want some light bleeding out from the surface, just like that. That's like a nice, I would say, like a nice touch, right? This is just little advice just to improve your renders, right? So we can touch base that next week. So, but for now, I think rendering with the correct values and putting a little bit of the backlight, right? Bleeding light out and bleeding light in. It'll help you to make the whole shape to look round, right? So there's simple exercise that I have in regards of Photoshop rendering. So maybe next week I can just start with that, and just to give you like a big scope on how to do it.